change that. It's not.
That's just a prediction.
Please, just submit your response to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Don't.
But you done a good job keeping that moving.
They give you choices.
We had that problem early on, you know,
Yeah, you go through the fill that stuff out.
because those guys, they won't get ready unless you call them up.
You probably have to fill it out.
Sometimes they're sitting around the clock.
Yeah, but you won't.
Yeah, we didn't have as many cars the other night. The one that filed was 7. That was the job, just trying to keep. Yeah.
It was a good crash.
Yeah, for sure. There was a big race down at US 60.
Is that the one at Harden's? Well, 2 or 3 were mentioned that.
Yeah, there were several of the guys. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, all my food, gas, ice, it's a good thing.
Typically, it's a good clean, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We haven't had that problem. Yeah, that's,
We charge nobody gets hurt.
yeah.
Yeah, for human remains, they'll have, we use Delta, they have a system. What do you ask that?
Oh, that free. It's not gonna cost us. I say.
You're gonna say Mexico's a different story. New Mexico. It's in the, yeah.
For arriving like just on time, so a little late, sometimes I can't keep it.
Yeah. That's what you want to believe.
I think I do okay.
You do a bang up job.
All right, it is 1:30. Thank you all for being here a bit early today. We will go ahead and reconvene and we'll start with soil and water first. Council, this is on page 57 of your binder. What? Do you guys need a reconvene?
Well, I was looking at all your work. Oh, yes, thank you. Sir? Yes. Thank you. You ladies need a copy back.
Could I have a copy?
Yes, I think so.
If you have an extra one? This goes up underneath the video, and then that way people can actually look at what you're saying. Does that make sense?
Okay, no, I don't want you to come up here with me.
Thanks.
Oh, wow. Well, I think everyone knows I'm Chris Fordyce. This Nevada Wagers, our new office manager. Oh, wow. I'm gonna try to make my presentation short and sweet. I'm certainly not going to read this to you, but one thing of the highlights I would like for everybody to look at there on the, you turn over to the first page, every dollar that you've let us have here at the county, we have leveraged that to $37.56 through our federal and state grant dollars that we have used. And we're certainly pretty proud of that, and looking for that to keep going up a little bit every year. But the main thing we're here for today is that we get 3 requests, really, I guess 4, that our SWCD technician, who is Cora Brown, I think she's at the 2nd deputy level right now, and we'd like to have her raised to 1st deputy salary. And then the operating expense that we always get every year, certainly we'd like to have that again. And then we would like to have $15,000 for an administrative support technician. That person right now is Dawn Humphrey. She's working on a grant at the time being due to some miscommunication. We think some of our grant monies are going to be unavailable for this year, and we're going to have a shortfall of $15,000. So we're requesting that to get us through this year for that. And hopefully that's just for that part, it's a one-time deal. Then the next thing is, we think it's time for the SWCD to buy a no-till grass drill. We're certainly having a lot of interest built up here in the county for the use of that. And as it stands now, people have been going to Scott County or Harrison County to rent. And needless to say, we'd like to get one here in the county. It's closer for them to use, and we think that it will be used even more if we have it here in the county. And needless to say, those things are expensive. As everybody knows, things have went up, and this drill now with the grass seed attachments that we certainly have to have out there, a new one's going to be $60,500. So we're requesting $10,000 to help offset that expense, and to share with everybody that we do a lot of programs through what they call Clean Water Indiana. And the good thing, our legislatures in the state have doubled the amount of money they're offering to the SWCD offices around the state. With that being said, this is the first year out of the last 5 years, I believe, that this has been going on, that we could request money for equipment. And so we have put in a request for that. We certainly don't know where we're going to get it or not. They tell us we have an awful good chance. So we think between those two things and the money we have on hand, we can certainly buy that and then rent it out to local farmers. And we're getting a lot of, let's say, the city farmers now that are coming out and buying their 20 acres, and they'd like to sow from 5 to 10 acres of hay for their horses or their 1 or 2 cows or a few calves, and so we certainly think it's going to be a good thing for the county. So we're asking for help on that.
So Chris, I'm seeing on here, you'd be pursuing a $50,000 grant from the Clean Water Indiana fund, and then you're looking basically to cost share for the remainder of the cost.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's basically what I've got to say. Unless someone's got a question, I'll certainly try to answer it.
Do you have any idea what the rent will be to a farmer if he needs this? If you get
Preston, we haven't even discussed that yet. This has all kind of come up here within the last 30 days, and so we just, we've not got that far along in the process. And to be honest, I don't even know what the other counties are charging. I guess I should, but I do what?
$100.
And that's just for a minimum, isn't it?
No, that's what they charge.
Okay. Well, Nevada says that the other counties are renting it for $100, and you can do, I guess, whatever amount of acres you want to do. So I'm sure we'll be some right there with, you know.
It's a little more than that because they charge by the acre over at Scott County,
Okay.
and I can't remember how much.
Well, that's something we're certainly going to have to research. And,
Right.
but I mean, we're going to be in line with the other
But
counties.
other counties are doing this, where you can piggyback on them or get an idea of what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then do you have, will that just go into the organization, that funding, like that revenue?
Yes. Just to offset the cost of the drill, so yeah, that's what. And I'm sure we certainly won't look at it from a profit-making standpoint because of the maintenance we'll have to do on it each year, that kind of thing. Just a, more or less a break-even type thing.
So from what I'm seeing, really the increases that you're asking for would be, aside from salary, you're looking for really one-time increases, is that right?
That's right.
So shortfall for the administrative support technician and the $10,000 for the cost share of the equipment.
Yes.
All right, council, any questions?
Yeah.
No, we're good. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
How long will the drill last, Chris?
Well, I would think it would last 15 years or longer, maybe 20. I mean, it's not going to have a lot of acres to it, but it does seem like from what I've seen, it takes more use because you're getting such a varied group, and some people just don't know how to take care of it. To be honest. Yeah, I think so. The biggest thing we've heard from the experience like Todd and I had when we rented one, that's been several years ago, but they don't clean the seed out of the seed boxes. So then, you know, naturally after it sets outside and it draws moisture, and so the time you clean that out, and just the fact it sets out so much, you know, you get the wear points get awful rusty, and then it chokes up pretty bad.
So would you be storing it someplace?
Well, it would certainly be nice, and I'm sure that's one thing we're going to try to. I mean, if we do, we're going to get a tarp where we can cover the seed boxes. But yes, it might be something that if there's room at the fairgrounds or something, we'll see if we can get it stuck in someplace. And
That's what I was gonna say, can we use that up there someplace?
yeah, man, no. But it certainly needs to be in through the winter. That's for sure.
But it's like everything else, maintenance
That's right.
is the key to longevity.
Yeah. And that's one thing, we told Nevada she's got to go to a service school so she can learn to take care of this maintenance for
There
us.
you go.
Good luck. She wasn't too happy about the tools we said, you know, we was going to have to kind of, it wasn't going to be snap-on, you know.
Did you notify her of all this before she signed?
No, no.
You're right in there, battery operated grease gun, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that, gonna be like at Christmas right after that.
All right, anything else, council commissioners?
That's it.
All right, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. I certainly appreciate it. Everyone have a good afternoon.
You too. All right, Danielle, would you like to come up with the extension? And this is on page 23. Reminders. Go ahead.
Sure, I'm gonna be real honest, it seems like it's been a long time since I've gotten to sit in this seat as the county extension director and talk to you guys about this, and so I'm nervous. I haven't done this in a while,
Who
so.
are you?
Huh?
Who are you?
I know, I'm not nervous about talking, am I? So, I hope things are about the same as they've always been, because I'm just gonna do that. And if you have anything you'd like me to do differently, please let me know.
Okay.
There are only 2 items that we have requested an increase, and contracted services with Purdue is one that was an increase. And other than Purdue sending me an email and saying, put this on your budget request, I know nothing else about it really. It's always goes up, and that's just the expectation there. And then under maintenance and repair, we asked for a $2,000 increase in that line item. And the reason for that is because we have been kind of robbing one area to pay for the default that we're having in that particular line item. And we've been able to do that because we've had some leave in our office that has kept us from maybe using all of our mileage or lodging or all of our postage and things like that. And I believe back in June, I brought our new 4-H educator in to meet everyone. And so now we're fully staffed in our office, and I'm hoping that that's going to be the first time since, I think, 2018, since 2018 that that's happened. And so, because of leaves or people coming into our office and leaving and things like that. So, we're going to need that money because we're not going to have the opportunity to steal from another one to cover that. So, other than those 2 things, everything else is sufficient for our office.
Awesome. Danielle, we've been asking department heads if they have any line item increases that they provide justification for that. So if you're able to show us dollars and cents over the prior years, how that's kind of shaken out, that will be helpful for us. And you can email that straight to Michelle and she'll notify the council.
So would the maintenance and repair be sufficient because of the contracted services Purdue just sends me?
Contracted services, I think, would be different, yeah. That's something that increases every year, and that's what Purdue says that we have to provide.
I know.
Yeah.
And then just send that directly to who I missed.
Michelle, please.
Okay.
Any questions for Danielle?
Good job.
Is there a specific deadline for that?
No, just as soon as you can. Yeah, when we are going through, well, I guess that's a good thing to talk about, Michelle, in terms of,
Public hearing will be September 5th, so if it's possible to get it to me by the middle or end of next week.
and we'll be checking back with Michelle to see which department heads have provided the justification for the increases.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you
All
guys.
right, thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the weed board.
Morning, Joe. Morning.
Hi, Joe.
Good morning, my name is Joe Keith. I'm with the Washington County Weed Board. And this year, we have reference to our budget. We're going to keep it the same as last year, so we're not asking for any money this year. Maybe in the middle of next year, we might have to, according to what the price of chemicals are. Short and sweet.
I know this is exactly the way we like to see budgets.
Well, I like it.
Anyone have any questions for Joe?
So how are we doing on weeds? Joe,
But
so how are we doing on weeds?
we're doing fairly good.
They're almost all done.
Johnson grass is getting us.
Me too.
they've been spraying every chance they got. This rain's really hurt
Now,
them.
see, you're supposed to say that about got them all. You left.
Yeah, but I don't like to lie. I'm an honest person. But I'll do it next time.
Yeah, okay.
Ron Dale? Anything else for us?
No, appreciate all your work, Bill.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for getting us a president for our weed board. I just heard about it. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Oh, Melissa,
Thank you.
he got appointed Tuesday, so
Okay, great.
it's official.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Maggie, are you ready?
Well, they're ready for the job, you know. You just stay. Yeah.
Okay, this is for the health department, and we are on page 65 in your binders. Good afternoon. All right, Maggie, if you want to just, we'll start with the health fund, and then we'll go to local health, LHC trust, and then we'll talk about the new grant.
Okay, that'd be good.
And then, as you go through these, if you are noticing if there's going to be changes, like I know some of your existing staff could be funded, just note that as we're going through.
Okay, so with the health department's fund, the only thing we are changing or asking for is a raise for the following year. Everything else, all the line items stay the same. I will go ahead and say though, with the Health First Indiana, we have to maintain this health department budget for 2024. It has to stay, like, I can't change anything out of that. It has to stay a 3-year average of the last 3 years. So as long as we maintain, we'll be able to accept this new funding. I just wanted to make that known. But like I said, other than that, the only thing the change was raises. And we put a raise in there for that. Now, do you want me to go on to the local health trust and the maintenance?
Yes.
Okay. Again, with this Health First Indiana, since we went ahead and pushed forward, sent all our stuff in, if we get approved to get that funding, the local health trust and the local health maintenance, we will not be asking for any money to be spent out of that this year. We will no longer get money dumped into those funds, is what I'm saying. It'll all go through this Health First Indiana.
Okay, so basically these two budgets
They're
are
pretty
going to be into the new budget.
Yes.
Does everybody understand that?
We're changing from the 2 to 1.
Okay.
And with those two, the local health trust and the local health maintenance, whatever money is left in there, I can go back every year and request a carryover, and I can spend those down until it's $0.
Okay.
So they're still ours to use, it's just next year we're not using them.
Okay.
And then with the Health First Indiana, what we're doing, again, it's the local health trust and the maintenance. We took those two monies and combined it into this Health First Indiana. And we are adding positions. That is a requirement on accepting this funding. And we kind of just put some numbers, not to the salaries, but just to different things that we would like to try to provide services for. Right now, I'm just, like I said, throwing $1 to it because I don't know how much we're going to be looking at spending out of it next year, or if we need to add or subtract from it. So next year is just kind of seeing what we can do and spending the funding.
And what was the minimum amount that we would be receiving?
306 the first year,
Okay.
and then 2025 will be 612. I will go ahead and say I did get an email this morning, and 6 counties have completed both steps, submitted the commissioner's part, and submitted the health department's budget, and we are one of the 6 out of 69 counties that have completed both ends.
Okay.
So we are ahead of the game on deadline for that.
Okay, so of your positions that you have listed, which ones are new and which ones are like sharing with our existing staff?
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start with the new. That would be like our school health nurse liaison. That's a requirement we have to meet. The state says it's a shall have.
The environmental health specialist is new, and they will also be trained as a lead risk assessor, and the lead risk assessor is a requirement. And then a part-time vector control employee that would just be in the office 2 to 3 days a week, and they wouldn't be in the office, but they would be out in the community spraying for mosquito control. And we did increase a lot of money for mosquito control spray to kind of minimize the mosquitoes in the county. Our position that we already have is the part-time public health nurse. She's already paid through the local health maintenance, but she will just be pushed over into this new funding. Okay. And we've talked about this before in terms of just the general footprint in the office. This does not outgrow the department versus like the size, the geographic size that you have. Okay. Yeah, we've already looked at it, and we all come down to the understanding we can't pass up the opportunity to accept this funding just because of the lack of space. So we're all going to work with what we've got. So we're just going to go with it for now and see what we can do.
Okay.
But it will be a big benefit to the community once we get all of it going.
Really, from looking through this budget, it looks like, I mean, there's something in there that really scares me with the new, in terms of like ongoing operational. Other than that, we have talked about this with other departments. If somebody's bringing somebody on from grant funding, they need to be fully aware that if that grant is no longer available, that position is no longer available. But otherwise, it looks like a lot of this is going to be spent on things that you would.
We already normally do, it's just adding a little bit more in there. And then in 2025, since we're doubling it, we'll be adding more to that. And there's a few more positions where have requirements to have. So they'll be, in 2025, we'll have a few more jobs. But we're trying with it, so.
Yes.
It's just going to be a trial and error year, the state said, with all the counties, so.
I think what might be helpful too for us to really understand what the horizon is going to look like for the next budget cycle is if you could come in maybe quarterly and update us on like how is this going with the new staff, like space needs, all these sorts of things, like making sure that and how this funding is working. That would be helpful for us.
Yeah, it's going to be an adjustment for me on my end, just trying to get everybody situated, getting them going together.
Yes.
To do that.
Okay, that would be great. All right, questions for Maggie?
As far as the state's concerned, have they talked about how long they're going to proceed with this?
So with the local health trust and local health maintenance, it's been there for years. It's the same funding source, it's just getting new name and increased amount of funding that have been there for at least 30 years. They don't foresee this going away. They do have to go by annual, like every 2 years to legislation, and we have to show them goals that we're spending our money wisely and doing what we said we need for public health. They said it's going to take so much effort for them to get it out of legislation that they do not foresee this money diminishing. It's our taxpayer dollars that are actually pushing forward for this funding.
So, but between this year and next year, we're adding 4 new people?
3, and 1 was already here.
Okay.
Yes. But they do not.
But they can mandate down the road with to satisfy them, they could create new positions.
They can, but from what they already have, I don't see them adding a whole lot more because there's a lot of requirements. Like one will be a preparedness employee. Like we have to have a dedicated employee that just deals with preparedness situation. So it either be a part-time or full-time position. But I don't see them adding a whole lot of new positions because that'll have to then go through legislation, and legislation will have to be like, okay, yes, we'll add that to our state bill. I think it'll be a lot more work on their end to keep adding.
And this funding can go up if other counties choose not to opt in.
Yes, so 69 counties so far have opted in, out of the 92, 69. If all 92, they said if all 92 don't opt in, there is potential for the other counties that have taken it to receive additional funding, but we won't know that until the beginning of the year, because they're waiting to see who opts in by September 1st. And then by November 1st, we will have been told, 1st of October, we will get it back if there's any issues. By November 1st, we will be told we get the funding to push forward in January.
But they can still opt in next year.
They can. If you don't opt in this year, they can opt in
They
the
just
fall.
they just don't get the money for this year.
Yeah, they would only get the local health trust and local health maintenance. So you either get one or the other.
I knew that, I just want to make sure everybody
Yeah.
else knew that.
Yeah. But,
Or was aware of that.
yeah, it's a big push that the state has gone forward with, and it'll be good.
Well, that's always my fear when we add positions, if the state's taken care of, and they decide to quit paying for that position, how are we going to handle that position? With the idea that if that ever happens, more than likely, we're going to have to eliminate, but we can also revert out of this.
Yeah, so like if at the end of the 2024 year, if we don't spend it all, that money just sits there in that fund. So say in 2024, we only spend half of it, so the other 150 just sits there, and we can use that for the following year, and that can keep pushing those salaries on if we don't get money that year. So it'll just keep reverting over and over again. So we can use carryover funds. There's something else I was thinking of telling you on this, but with the local health trust and the maintenance, again, I didn't do it this year because this is a lot for 2024, but the local health trust, we already spend like tobacco ads out of it. Instead of putting it in Health First Indiana, I can ask a carryover and put it in that trust and spend that down. So then that's money I can use for the Health First on something else. So there's potential I can move things around. I just have to request it.
Okay. And then we were talking about KPIs, like the key performance indicators that the state has. Do we have a county plan, like what we are deeming as priorities for this new funding?
Okay. With the key performance indicators, we don't know what that's going to look like yet. I don't know if it's going to be twice a year I have to submit this survey saying this is what we have, this is what we're doing, this is our dollar amounts we spent on it so far. I don't know that yet. The state hasn't said how it's going to look. With our goals, it's mainly just trying to hire those positions that the state says are a shall requirement. That would be what we need to meet first, and then just build from there.
So at this point, we're not doing anything like monumental. It's really just to meet the requirement to access the funding.
Yes, yeah, we have to meet it. They say we don't have to do everything in the first year. It's build gradually into it because they don't expect everybody to get up and going with all the jobs.
Okay. Any other questions for Maggie?
It appears that you have control.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been trying to pay attention a lot to it. And there's a lot of working parts, so. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, the coroner's office will not be here until 3:45, so we can take some time between now and then to do some of the commissioner's budget, but I would like to take a 15-minute break if that's all right with everyone. Okay. Okay, all right. 15-minute break.
I've tried for 10 minutes to get these three people.
Oh, I'm sure it's out right now.
Sit down. Assessor supposed to be up here?
They went out to lunch, so Tyra, I think, Tyra, do you have all your stuff together?
Not really. I need to make copies of everything for everybody.
We could go to the commissioner's budget.
I can go through it and then bring you the copies tomorrow.
Okay. Does that work for everyone? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and start with the assessor, or the auditor's office. And that is on page 3 in your binder.
Could you,
Everything pretty well stayed the same. Office supplies, we reduced that down $1,000. Reduced down the mileage and lodging to $800. maintenance and contracts, that did go up because we got a new system in the office. It's called SBS Portals. It allows other departments, say probation, prosecutor, circuit, superior court, anything that's not in this building and even in this building can now scan their claims and submit them through this portal,
Okay.
which makes it a lot better. It also allows us to keep those claims in folders in this system so that they're easily accessed. And it'll do for budget stuff too, payroll. It's for the whole office, so we can put our deductions on there also. So that contract and maintenance is for that.
Is that one of the things you're going to provide a copy of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I did have the scanning project, just put that in there. This SBS Portals, they came and gave us a quote on scanning the transfer books that are downstairs in what I call the old council room. That room is pretty well full. Most of it's our stuff, which is the transfer books. I would just like to be able to get those out of here, and that would alleviate a little bit of space for other needs that we have. Plus, a lot of those books are really old, and it'd just be nice to get them out of here.
Okay, and that is, council, in the back of your packet, your binder, Kyra has provided the estimate. And,
That would take care of all of that.
That would be everyone transfer books.
That's what I meant, yes.
it's about a third of the way through the supplemental in the back. And it's from Lau, the very, on the top left-hand side has Kyra's name. Kyra, is there a portion of this, when I'm adding some of these numbers up together, which one of these numbers go into the scanning project?
For Lau.
From Lau?
The 39.
Oh, no, Lau, that's totally separate.
Oh, what is that for then? Is Lau for the,
Lau is our financial and tax billing software.
is that for the maintenance and contracts increase or no?
Not for Kyra's office, no, it's under the commissioner's budget.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, so otherwise, we're going to be waiting until you get that to us then?
Yeah, it's this. And
Is that in here?
I'll make a copy of it.
Oh, okay. Okay, disregard that. Okay, any questions for Kyra? These two line item increases, Kyra will get us the documentation for those. Michelle, we heard back from the assessor's office.
No, I have not, but if you'd like to move on to cemetery real quick, I know John's not here today, and I'm not sure if he'll be here tomorrow, but it's page 56. And there is really no changes to it. If you recall, there had been additional earlier, already bumping the contract amount from 45 to 46.5 earlier this year, so he's requesting to keep that the same. And
Okay. Any questions on this one?
No.
Okay. All right, Dell Cemetery. All right, with that, do we want to move on to the commissioner's budget? Is that work for you, Phil?
pages 26 and 27.
Ready?
Ready?
Okay, unemployment stays the same, 10,000. Overtime, holiday pay stayed the same, 30,000. County attorney, 40,083. Commissioners, 76,237. County council, 53,561. Park secretary, 0. Fairgrounds caretaker, 28,382. Grant administrator, we zeroed out, we never could find one. Perf, 425,000. Group life, we did go up a little bit, we went down, 1,100,000. It was 1,200,000. We had a good record this year. FICA, 425, it went down. Park and Recreation Director, 50,640. Longevity, 50,000. Maintenance contracts, 475. That's going to depend. We're pretty well holding our own on that one. IT equipment, 20,000, held at the same thing. We are updating equipment as we need. General expenses, 10,000, we dropped it, 10,000. Postage, 60,000. Office bonds and insurance, 6,000, that's the same. Building structure insurance, 525. We did get a raise on all the buildings we've got.
Do we have a quote for that, Bill?
I think we did get that, didn't we?
That's what I did. That was the end of the year.
I mean,
We don't have anything yet, but he'd already told us that they was going to raise.
I mean,
Do we know what it was last year?
Yeah.
It should be with
We used all of it, didn't some.
It should or should not?
Should.
Go up at least 50%?
Yeah, I think that's across the board on a lot of structures.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little over 15%.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess 17%. That's about all the insurance company here was getting instructed to raise their billings because of expenses and how everything costs more.
Okay.
Structures.
Michelle, are you pulling up for you for last year? Thank you.
Yeah, 17% roughly. It's really not bad. Phil.
We have spent so far this year $493,280. And that's with an additional of 50. And I do want to say this fund, that line item also does pay for if they go out and get a new vehicle, the insurance on that, all the little extra insurance incidentals, your deductible, your, because I know we're getting ready to have a deductible for the storm.
and you said, was how much? So 40.
$493,280.
And we did an additional, is that what you said?
Yeah, we had to put an additional 50,000 in it in March.
So it's almost spent everything that's in there.
Yes.
Okay, so are the premiums billed, like have we paid the entire year premium?
And she's want no premiums ever.
The main one, the big one is every yearly.
Okay, so there's not like another bill for the big, okay. Bill, who do we have for insurance for that?
Right now, Matt Miller's had the cheapest price so far.
Okay,
We started to do some negotiating on the other, but it didn't work out.
and then for the insurance, there was, Humana was this past year, but what's the county moving to for health insurance?
Health insurance,
Anthem?
Anthem.
Okay.
Humana pulled out everything. I think we had bids on United, Anthem. There was one other we never heard of. Right now, Humana come in the best thing. Okay, telephone, 30,000, was 40,000. Legal services, 30,000. County council attorney, 11,900.
No, I do think that might be something we need to look at, just, I don't know the number, but I think it might be something that we might need to look at in the future.
It's been since 2017.
Yeah.
Might go up.
We likely will have to, I would think we would likely have to go up if we're fine, you know, if we need, yeah. Huh? Yeah, if we need to, secure new counsel, we might need to increase that amount.
Just keep us informed of where you're
Yeah.
going to go. Okay, publication, of legal notice, 8,000. Care of patients and inmates, 220,000. Basically, it's because he's dropped on attendance up there. We don't have as many, so we did save a little bit there. Burial for soldiers still holds at 13,000. Ambulance service, 850,000. Juvenile detention expenses, 180,000. It seems like we're getting more and more juvenile. We know that, and we are trucking more. And Southern
did you say-
Indiana don't have any place.
Yeah, did you say last year that Brownstown no longer has that facility, or Jackson County doesn't have that facility, so we're having to go to
One
Vincennes?
place he's got Vincennes right now.
Okay,
So it's putting a hardship on everybody in Southern Indiana.
right.
Debt service, 5,000. Cost allocation plan, 3575. Mental health, 165,000.
I'm gonna break in here, we did get the estimate from the state, last week on that. That needs to be $163,125.
163 what?
125.
Okay.
Sorry, Bill, go on.
Which one was that?
That was Life Spring.
No,
153,
163.
163.
125.
Membership dues, 2,600. Commissioner dues, 700. Intellectual disability, 91,000. HR training, we went back to 0 on that. We got her trained. If we keep her, well, everybody keeps a record of her. County Commissioners phone system networking infrastructure, 150,000. Brought us to $5,145,678. Questions?
The clinic, is that big, where is the clinic part of their fees, is that part of this budget here? The clinic out there?
1.1 is.
That's it.
That's included, that's why I was wanting to make sure that was included in the 1.1. That was my question. Thank you.
That did go up a little bit this year, didn't it? I should go up. Yeah.
I'm thinking I
No.
saw something was averaging $30,000 a month.
What much was it?
Phil, from 22 to 23, Phil, for that line item, are we talking about the health insurance line item? For 22 to 23, it did go up 300,000, but from 23 to 24, you have that reduced by 100.
About that 1.1 million, the 360,000 roughly goes to the clinic.
Okay.
That's why I'd like to get the numbers of how many people in the county actually use their clinic
That's what I was going
to
to say.
justify
Right now,
paying 360,000.
right now, there's more using it, I think we've ever used.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, and that's a good thing, but I'm saying that if we've only got a handful of people using it, it's not worth the money, but I think more people are using it. I was surprised to see it was 25,000 a month plus 5,000 roughly a month.
I didn't think
I think, wasn't it, Michelle?
Will, give me this a second.
I was going to tell you, I was going to bring that up, I forgot to tell you that, but I'm sorry. I can only do so much up here.
Why is that?
I just want to make sure we were getting the most bang for our buck for the
Other side,
$30,000.
anywhere from 20 to 25,000 a month.
I average 25,000 a month plus 5,000.
Closer to 25 a month.
Council, do you want to talk about the ambulance subsidy now, or do you want to wait until we have an opportunity to hear from EMS?
We need to wait.
Well, that was my next question. Yeah, probably waiting on that for you. We're waiting to discuss that.
We need to really wait till the world discuss that, I think.
Is everyone comfortable with that? Waiting to talk about that?
But you wouldn't go here.
I was joking, Phil. I wouldn't be here, bro. This is my job.
Don't scare me like that.
I wouldn't put something off like that to discuss it if I'm not going to be here to discuss it.
Okay.
They'd probably get more discussion.
They're probably going to get the most.
It will be a lengthy discussion, so.
Yes. I think that needs to be held off till tomorrow when they can be here to discuss it.
The rest of you agree? Okay, Phil, do you want to move on to the courthouse?
Page 28.
28.
Yes.
28.
Okay. The custodian right now, 38,946. Custodian maintenance, 42,311. Custodian 2, and right now, we're looking at bringing on another custodian. Our custodian now is pretty well going to every building we've got. And this year, he's had some health issues, which put us short-handed. And one day, we got complaints because the bell couldn't ring, and he's about the only one that can wind the clock. But besides that, we have grown to a point where we feel like we do need the second maintenance. So we're going to advertise for the second person for custodian. Or a maintenance person.
Do you have a different budget than what I have with the new
We don't
position?
have that added on, because they just talked about it.
Okay, so this is in addition to what we have then?
This would be an additional.
Okay.
At 36,539.
See?
At 36,539, the one.
So you're gonna make him, what Tony's making, or?
I think the second one with the demands we're going to put on him is probably going to have to equal what Tony makes.
So the 42.
And that's going to be hard to find.
So you're saying 42,311?
I would do the
Karen, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
42,311 then?
Yes.
Okay.
Thought you would shut me on that, okay?
Well, we don't know what's out there. Everyone knows the employment situation, and it's not pretty if you're looking to find someone. So, the first thing you would think of, this 42,311, well, gosh, that's the same thing the current one makes, so how are you gonna pay someone new coming in the same thing that you've been paying a gentleman who's devoted his large part of his life to this job? But let's just say that 42,311 is a not to exceed price, and like I say, I don't know if we'll even be able to find someone, but we've got to be a little bit proactive on trying to find somebody a little younger who might eventually take over and take care of this place, because none of us are getting any younger.
So that budget, 691,107.
No, I just said 42,300
No, I'm saying total.
would be a not to exceed price, so it could be
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I just add that on to the bottom number there.
Well, we're taking out part-time, correct?
Now, we're taking out part-time completely, or right now, what I have in front of me, it went from 70 to 40,000. Or would you take it out completely?
Right now, I would take it out completely.
For the part-time?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't really just very much then.
Okay.
2,311.
Any more questions?
It's a part-time guy now. That, okay.
Part-time.
We don't have a part.
We don't have
We
part-time.
don't have.
We just use that money to pay,
All right, go ahead.
but we
So your
have,
total budget request for, at the bottom there, at 648,000, what's that number?
Yeah, I added that on.
Well, that's gonna be close.
2,311 should add on.
$651,107.
Correct.
That's why I want to make sure that that's,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I added
That
Okay.
2,300.
11.
All right, any questions on this budget for the commissioners?
Okay.
All right. Bill, do you want to move to seated? On page 29.
okay. River Hills, 9330. Animal shelter, 10,000. And that is a bargain. Economic development, 30,000. Paving, 1,017,220. Non-paving, 269,744. Economic growth, Commissioner A, 20,000. Brings us to 1.356294. Well, what? That will change on that one. Or no, that was added in the other day. I'm sorry.
Is it, hang,
Yeah.
on the paving here, the 1 million, does part of that go to Match Crossroads?
Oh, so who?
Match Crossroads,
Like the community crossings?
community crossing.
Community crossings, we're
Yeah,
gonna make $1 million on blacktopping with it.
Oh, okay.
The match for that is setting under, I think it's MVH restricted,
Oh, okay.
I think.
I had some questions on these two line items too. Thinking about the highway department facility, if I'm recalling correctly, we had a conversation about like each of the commissioners would pull part of some money out of paving to pay for the highway facility, like we would reduce the number of miles that we would be paving each year to be able to cover some of that cost. You kind of talk me through, I thought we were keeping this cost the same, so.
We haven't got the final price on what that's gonna do.
Well, that's reflected in that, isn't that?
The 75.
It's 25.75. It was 85.15.
Reflected in what?
On the,
Our total edit money in regards to paving and non-paving. For, I'm going to say several years, 4 or 5 years at least, it's been 85% goes to paving, 15% to non-paving. So, in order to help the situation with the highway department facility non-paving, the ratios changed from 85-15 to 75-25.
Okay, so you increase that.
But you wouldn't be able to see that in these numbers because they didn't change that much, except for the fact that non-paving, from a percentage wise, looks a lot better.
Right.
It's almost another $100,000 that we need to help with the highway department facility. So yes.
Okay, so part of that is going towards the highway facility, is that what you're saying, the increase?
Yeah, on the non-paving.
Okay.
And, you're only talking, I don't know,
3 miles.
half of it. Yeah. Not even a mile per district.
I was thinking, is the district, what's 2 miles or something?
Oh, no, no.
Is it more than that?
78.
Huh?
About 78.
78, I had it in my head 6 miles.
That's what today's price is.
Maybe it was so many.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else of non-paving would be going to pay towards the highway facility? Is that the total amount or just that increase, just the $100,000 increase?
It's the total amount.
So the full 269,
The full 269, yes.
okay, so.
Page 30.
Do what?
Page 30.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hang on.
Economic Growth Commissioner A, I'm sorry, somebody bring me up to date.
A couple years ago, the council requested that 20,000, we give Growth Partnership 50,000. The council requested that 20,000 of that only be given to them with commissioner approval.
Yes, thank you.
The rest of the annual highway facility expenditure, is that coming from somewhere else, or is this the payment we would expect to make?
Yeah, that's going to make a payment.
This is going to be off, like, this is where this expense is going to come from, is just this one. We're not going to see it anywhere else in the budget.
You're going to see $1 million under riverboat.
Well, yes. Okay.
But yeah, to answer your question, as far as payments, yeah, that's the only place.
Okay, so payments for the highway department facility will come out of non-paving.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's helpful. So when you were talking about, basically making that 85-15 split to 25-75, that's where you're talking about the miles. Right, like you would kind of take from paving to put into non-paving.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions on this one?
I'm just gonna say that when you do the math on these numbers, it's not 75-25, it's actually 80-20. So, just so everybody's aware. do the math between paving and non-paving, and you add up the total, and then you take your non-paving and divide it into the grand total, it's more than 80/20, not a 75.
You have to knock your, we know these are expenses off, like River Hills Animal Shelter, economic growth, they come off the top. I don't even equate them into.
You're just talking about those two numbers though, aren't
I'm
you?
just talking about paving and non-paving. When you take paving and non-paving and you add the two together, you get 1,286,964. When you divide 269,744 into 1,286,964, you have an 80/20 split. It comes to 20.9 actually. So basically 21%. So you're looking at 80 to 1, or 79 to 21% difference versus 85/15. So just for the sake of people who are like looking at the numbers, if you get confused down the road, that's the only reason I clarified that. It's not really a 75-25% change, it's an 80-20 more or less.
Karen, would you pull your speaker down, please?
So if you add the 1,017,220 and the 269,744 for non-paving, you get a total of 1,286,964. If you divide your 269,744 into the grand total of 1,286,964, it's a 20% difference, not 25. As far as total percentage of the grand total of those two numbers. So instead of it being split 85/15 like it was in the past, you're looking at 80/20 now, not 75/25. So if that's a factor that you all were wanting to shoot for was 75/25, you're going to have to change this more because that's not close.
That may be right. It maybe was 80/20. That's been several months ago we did that, so whatever it is, it is. We were
The
shooting.
numbers that are in there you're comfortable with, even if it's not.
Yeah, we need the 270,000, right, Michelle?
As far as I know.
Yeah. We were more interested in a number, dollar amount than a percentage, so it could very well be 80/20. I may have misspoken there because, like I say, that was 2 or 3 months ago that we did that, made the change in the edit.
Thank you for catching that, Karen.
But the total dollars doesn't change.
Very good. Anything else? Okay, let's move to cumulative funds, page 30.
Just had a message break in. Devonna, it used to be in our EMS, maybe you already know about it.
Yep, I just found out at lunch.
Had her baby last night. And Scott County was wanting to know who to contact over here to tell our EMS service, but it don't look like she might make it.
She had a C-section, emergency C-section about 9 o'clock last night, and died on the table. They brought her back and they flew her to Indianapolis at 2 a.m. this morning, and she is on life support, and it is not looking promising. She's had multiple strokes. Devonna, that was the deputy director under Nick. Yeah.
Maybe this is not protocol. But
This is
like,
probably not the time to talk about this.
it is. Life and death. I'd like to ask Gerald to say a special prayer right now.
Yeah, fine.
Would you, Joe?
What was your first name?
Devonna.
Yeah. I'll try to get through this. Lord, we're just thankful that you've given us a good portion of health that we can be here. There are families that don't have this blessing. We ask, Father, that you be with this family who stands to lose so much. We hope that you can bring comfort in some way in this time of sorrow. We're just thankful, Father, for the health of our families. We pray that you continue to bless us all as we stand in need. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. I'm sorry, now, what do you want us? Did you ask me a question? Go ahead.
Just a minute. Well, thank you for letting us know that, and then Sarah, thank you so much for doing that. Okay. Yes.
River Hills,
We are on page 30, Phil.
maintenance and repair.
Yes.
Okay. 200,000 overall. Fairgrounds expenses, 30,000. Park maintenance, 60,000. Detention Justice Center, 220,000. Building purchase, 0. Brings us to 510,000.
Any question for the commissioners on this budget? There are no changes. All right, Phil, next, Riverboat.
Nothing on the courthouse repair right now. Knock on wood. Building purchase, 1 million. And that brings us to 1 million on that one.
Do you know what the future plans are for that fund? You know, next year, would you also be looking to put money towards the highway facility with that fund as well? Or
That's it. We will be diminishing some of the repair that we're having to do out here to get us up to standards. So it's going to be a switch.
So the last time I took a look at the fund balance, if anybody's interested, it looked like there was almost 2.3 million in that fund. So it looked like there was plenty for us to pull 2 million from. We're comfortable with that.
And what is building purchase? What's that mean?
This is for the highway facility,
Oh, okay.
the new highway facility.
So I'm sorry.
As of June, we had almost 2.3 million in the Riverboat Fund.
Okay.
And so the commissioners are requesting that $1 million from that fund go towards the highway facility.
Right.
And I'm imagining that would be in a lump sum as opposed to payments over time. Is that how you want to do?
I think
I
so.
probably wouldn't have a choice.
Okay, so it looks like there will be a lump sum for the highway facility of 1 million, and then an earlier budget, when we're looking at non-paving, looks like there would be a payment amount of $269,000 annually.
Yes.
And so, did you say yes for next year? You're looking at pulling more money
1 million.
for the year after, I guess for the year after?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood
Okay.
your question.
So,
25.
huh?
You're talking 25.
Yeah, I'm talking for 25. Are you thinking that you would want to pull money out of Riverboat for the highway facility in 25 as well, or is this just for 24? Okay.
Yeah. It'll be another million out of Riverboat next year.
In 25?
In 25.
Okay.
Okay, so 269, then $1 million.
No,
No.
I didn't get the case either.
it was $1 million out of that.
You were doing $1 million or you were doing $1 million?
I'm sorry,
But
I'm sorry.
the rest was gonna be paid.
Okay.
No, we will not be taking the additional $1 million out of Riverboat next year. Thank you, sorry.
Okay.
We've been doing this for over the course of several months and
You said you got
Well, I know you guys have come up with several different potential solutions, so
Yeah.
want to make sure we understand where you're at to date.
269 after that.
To reach our goal of 4 million, we were gonna take 1 million out of the ARP funds, 1 million out of riverboat, and the balance is what we would use the edit money for to make payments.
Okay.
So long story short, we pay 1/2 of the total upfront and make payments on the balance. Thank you, Michelle.
Again,
Did everyone hear that? Okay, so to recap, for the highway facility, 1 million out of riverboat, 1 million out of ARC, and then $269,000 a year
Thank you right now.
out of non-paving.
How many years is that payment for?
Uh,
You remember? About 6? About 8?
yeah, you got 2.3.
Was that 8 years?
The payment?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 6 I had, 4 or 5.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Does that include a financing fee?
That's still kind of an iffy number, but it's a safe number. So to answer.
Well, if you borrow 4 million or if you borrow 2 million, you're paying back more than 2 million, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if we're paying a payment of 269,744 at a non-paving, so where's our money to actually service the roads that are not paved in the county? I guess I'm confused.
What page was that?
On 29.
Well, we still have our.
You have over $1 million for paving,
Yeah.
plus the million for, huh?
I changed the figures.
Okay, Michelle did give me, so Michelle, is this the most up-to-date?
That is the most up-to-date that I have.
Okay, so
Okay.
one thing, if you guys will draw your attention to the non-paving line item, we had 744. Michelle's provided me with the new numbers. That's a 321,741.
Okay.
Now, is that,
Has the paving number changed?
Yeah, probably.
yes, the paving number, thank you, Karen. The paving number is 965,223.
So it's $4,000 less than it was
Yeah,
last year
we'll pay you.
For paving.
for paving.
Correct.
Okay, so does that full non-paving amount go towards the highway facility in this new dollar amount?
It is gonna have, it's probably gonna have to.
What was it, 321?
321,741. Well, that makes a 4 or 5 year payment cycle a little bit more reasonable, like, realistic. Okay. So,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
all right, so just to recap, 1 million out of Riverboat, 1 million out of ARP, and then we've got now 321,741 a year out of non-paving. With an estimated project cost of what the council has said they were comfortable, or a number willing to go to is 4 million. Okay, let me see real quick. All right, Bill, we'll come back to the rest of these in a minute after we go ahead and have Sherry come up. Sherry, would you like to come up? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have the assessor's office on page 14 and 15 in your binders.
Actually, I have made changes,
Okay.
a lot of changes.
Hopefully your changes are not increases.
They're not.
Good. Thank you.
Some decreases.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, I actually have. You want a folder? I've got a folder. I bought extra folders to put in here. Do you want a folder?
Yeah.
For that?
Can I have a copy too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
I have
thank
one-
you.
I have one left.
Look at you. That's specific.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's my first time, so I don't even know this stuff.
Did you give all your sheets away?
Pardon?
Did you give them all away? You want mine?
I've got mine.
Oh, you got them, okay.
Wonderful. Okay, Sherry, can we start with the assessor budget first? Sure.
Basically, the only thing that I asked for an increase in was on the mileage and lodging. The classes increased a little bit. We're going to be running just kind of down to the wire after we go to fall conference. But I think I only changed it by $300. But that is the only increase other than a possible 5% increase on salaries, but I know that's not up to me.
Okay, and then Sherry, you have also your dues and subscriptions would be increased based on
Those are,
salaries?
the only reason I put that on there is because the dues with the ICAA are based upon salaries.
Okay. Okay, that's helpful.
They're a percentage of our salaries.
Okay, while it's not a large increase that you have on here, we are asking every department head if they have line item increases to provide justification. So you talked about some of the conferences. If you can get an estimated dollars and cents for us and send it to Michelle, that would be helpful.
Okay. I have a decrease of the total overall budget.
Both of them are decreased. Both of them are, there's
Right.
increased. The total budget's decreased.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I changed mine.
Okay, who has I don't have a decrease.
It's a decrease from what I originally.
Well, yes, from what you originally submitted, yes. Sorry, I thought you meant from last year. Okay.
Yes, a decrease.
Yeah, but for mileage and lodging, and if you would just make a note about the salaries, like what that would, what a 5% increase would do to your dues and subscriptions, that would be helpful. And then you can send that to Michelle, and then she'll notify us. Any questions on this budget, council, commissioners? Okay. All right, let's go to reassessment.
Okay, the main increase was on reassessment software, or I'm sorry, on the printing and advertising. Our Form 11s are our biggest costs. We go with Midwest Presort, they print them out and they mail them out. Those costs were up considerably this year. We spent in the neighborhood of $12,000 just for those. And then the ones that were returned by the post office, we had to readdress and mail out again.
Which line item is this?
I'm sorry, this is on 30206.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, 30200.
Okay.
I'm also asking that my 2 third deputies be moved to second deputies. Both of those ladies have gone through and got their level 2s actually within their first year of being here. And one is taking her first level 3 class next week. We're very happy about that.
Okay, did you touch on contract and trending data?
There's really nothing that has changed
Pictometry, we're still in the same contract, that's $83,033 a year. Xsoft is $27,981. Tyler Tech is just shy of $64,000 a year. It's $63,875. And then WTH is $3,600 a year. For a total of $178,633.
Okay, so do you need the 5% increase on the contract and trending data?
We could probably be okay without it.
Michelle, remind me about this fund. Is this its own fund?
It is, but it is also a tax-rated fund. It's what makes up our levy. So you got your piece of pie and you got your levy. So this is one of them that pulls a levy.
The reason, I'm sorry, I thought you were done, I apologize.
No, go ahead.
The main reason that we had asked for a bit of increase is occasionally we do have to ask Tyler to do extra projects that are outside of their contract.
Okay. Council, any questions for Sherry?
That's pretty good.
Thank you for the changes to your budget. Appreciate that. I did want to note, you had suggested moving those 2/3 deputies to second deputies. We have seen other departments do that, and it seems to create almost like an even playing field for everybody when you're hiring new positions, and just everybody gets the exact same pay. So some of the other departments who have done that, it seemed to be good for the morale in the office that everybody, there's no arguing about pay or who gets what deputy level pay, because everybody's getting the same.
I wholeheartedly agree, and these two gals have just been a godsend. They are both go-getters. They both caught on very quickly and have just been huge in everything that we have done. We're very, very fortunate to have both of them.
That's great. Anything else for Sherry?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
It wasn't bad at all, was it?
Thank you, Peggy.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, we are going to take a 5-minute break, and then we will reconvene and go to the assessor's office.
Thank you.
All right, before we call up the coroner's office, I just want to take a moment, several of us, we now know that Devon has passed away, and I want to make sure that, we express our condolences to the family and to everybody affected by the situation, and we'll be thinking and praying for them for a long time. So, with that, I will move over to the coroner's office and we will continue the budget process. Okay, the coroner's office is on page 13 of your binder. If you all want to go through and talk about any line item changes, that would be helpful. And then any sort of department updates you'd like to provide, that would also be helpful.
Okay, we did ask, I don't know if you all knew, but Peg did resign. So Sean is going to be taking over as soon as the caucus occurs. So I am just interim until she can get in there. So we have went over this, and what we believe that we want to do is for the coroner, deputy coroner, and assistant deputy, we would like to remain those at salary. I have a sheet for you to kind of show you how many cases coroner, deputy coroner, and then the deputy reserve are doing. We would like to move deputy reserve and fourth deputy, you see that on our sheet. They've only done in a year out of 150, 125 calls that we've had, they've only done 18, and in 2022 they did 18 again. So we would like to move those to $250 per case, and just call them on a case-by-case basis. But we would like to leave coroner, chief deputy,
I'd like
and
page
deputy
2, please.
on salary, in order to keep them kind of consistent and keep, because we do a majority of the work, I would say.
Haley, did you say for the deputy and deputy reserve, change that to $250?
No,
or just the reserve?
Okay, so coroner, deputy coroner, and assistant deputy, we would like to leave those on salary. And then the deputy reserve, we would like to move to $250 a case.
So I'm confused.
Okay.
You're doing fair. Oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
You're not like your mother.
No,
He yells.
I'm not yelling, no.
So you're wanting to move the coroner?
No, we would like to keep coroner, deputy coroner, and then the assistant on salary, so what they are at now. And then the deputy reserve position, we would like to move that to just $250 a case instead of salary, how it is now.
And just based off of your caseload, do you think that would be about 5,000? Or that would be enough to cover?
I think that would be more than enough, considering they're only going on 18 calls a year, roughly. That would even maybe save us some money versus paying them salary.
All right, Haley, if you want to go into the other line items.
Okay, the next one is office supplies. And then film and batteries and OSHA required protection. The film and batteries and the OSHA required protection, we don't have film and batteries anymore. We have batteries for our camera, but we don't have film. And then the OSHA required protection, that's just part of our supplies, gloves and things. So we wanted to make this simpler for ourselves, and just put all of that into office supplies. So film and batteries went into the office supplies line, and as well as computer supplies. Those all kind of cover everything that we do, so we didn't feel that we needed separate lines for each thing.
Okay, it looks like you also reduced that amount.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And talk about equipment.
Yes, we kept that. We did add $650 from fuel. We went over fuel from the year past, and we didn't need all the money that we had in there for fuel. So we did add $650 to the fuel line into the equipment. We would like to get a new camera and things like that to update some of our supplies and equipment. And we don't drive the car enough to use that much fuel.
So you moved the 650 up, and then was there also, is that a $400 difference?
We moved $650 up from fuel to, so we moved 500, $650, yeah, into fuel from the fuel line.
And then you increased it $400? Or is that $400 pulling from somewhere else?
We had $650 to the equipment line from fuel.
Okay, I have on here, tell me if your numbers are the same. I have it from 2,200 to 3,250.
Correct.
So are you also increasing it $400?
That's 1,100.
Okay, I think you're right. Okay, sorry.
Either way is fine, we just will, if you are increasing any line items above what you're moving around, we'll want to have justification for that, so some sort of documentation with dollars and cents of where that increase would be coming from. So we're trying to keep an eye out for if it's a true increase or if it's just if it's moving your line items around.
Yeah, no, we're just moving it.
Okay, so is your intention then to just move 650, or is there another $400 that you're pulling from somewhere
No,
else?
the 3250 is correct.
Okay. Did you move the computer supplies into it?
I thought computer Sorry, it's been a minute.
No, that's okay, that's okay. Like I said, we just want to make sure whichever ones you're actually asking for true increases, that we ask you for those documentation, but we're not going to ask you for documentation for moving your line items around.
Yeah, we're just, everything we've moved around, the only thing we asked for an increase is, our, salaries. Increase in that. Everything else is just moved around, no increases. And then the only other one would be, we did ask for 5,000 more, for autopsy. We have used most of our money already for this year. So we would like to go ahead and increase that. We are seeing more and more autopsies every year.
How many of these shows 10,000 a year?
Your autopsy?
I would say, probably since you're the new one, that ours are autopsies anymore. It's
I don't
10,000.
understand the run.
There's the old one right there, the old one, the middle top.
Rondale, you're correct, it's 10,000.
It's 10,000, okay.
Oh, yes,
All right, I
yes,
thought you
sorry.
said 5,000, so,
I might have,
okay.
sorry. No, we're actually asking for 10 for all.
How much is an autopsy?
Do you have the new one?
I don't have that with me.
I'd have to ask Dr. Kelly.
I might have messed up inputting it.
I don't
Okay.
Why doesn't Sean? What is your criteria, I
I
guess,
think I might have gotten something different.
for an autopsy? I know it has to
Last year.
But it goes from 35.
be, I mean, like, if somebody just dies and it's like a death, you know, it's naturally a cancer, you just don't do any autopsies on those things.
If you are under a physician's care,
If you are-
if you're under a physician's care like hospice or something like that, you do not need an autopsy. What we're running into is a lot of people are not under doctor's care, and there's no family around, there's nobody that really knows what's going on with them, they haven't seen a doctor in 10 years. There's no medical background for someone to sign a death certificate and determine what the cause of death is. So at that time, that's when we need to do an autopsy. If somebody comes into the hospital that's, suffered a heart attack, doesn't have any past medical history of heart-related conditions, we're gonna need to do one then. Just any time that we don't know and don't have a doctor that is willing to decide what happened.
Okay.
We've also had an increase with drug overdoses, and they're requesting, the prosecutors have requested, we do an autopsy on those to kind of see exactly what drug was in their system, how much, and they use those to try to prosecute the sellers of the drugs. So,
That's something we're in talks with them about.
Yes.
We're possibly starting to do that, depending on what Tara wants us to do.
Did she directly talk to you about that?
yeah, she has talked to Shonda about that. Something that we're gonna try to work out, just due to the cost of the autopsies and how much of the budget it would take from us.
Yeah. Because we would go from doing, just toxicology on that person to a full.
Well, I don't know how the training goes anymore. My thing is, in the past few years, it just seems like there's been a lot of autopsies done on natural deaths. And that's something that I know when I was there and when I went through the training, our focus was on homicides and suicides or something that.
That's correct. It's generally only if they have no previous medical history, the family tells us, they weren't sick, they hadn't been to the doctor. when it's really a mystery. And
Well, and I think you'll see now, a lot of people don't have contact with their family, people move away, people aren't in contact anymore, so we don't know Dad's medical history, we don't know what's been going on with him. We've seen a lot of people living in campers and things like that, and they don't go to the doctor, they don't transport to the doctor. So then at that time, somebody has to determine what happened, and there's no medical records to obtain to back that up.
Do they still pay for the toxicology through the state?
Yeah.
That's happened just a few years ago, but the thing about that is, even though the state's been doing that, these autopsies keep jumping up. And as far as the amount of autopsies that's done, and then the AIT, back in the day, it was like $200 to $250 per sample that we would have to send off. So there should be some savings there. I think for my sake, I need to know how much an autopsy costs today.
Okay, I
I'm
can,
thinking, I think it's only on average, because I did ask her, based on what we have left in the budget, that it averaged $1,900 per.
okay.
Is that Dr. Jacoby's? Okay.
Will you have any training to go to?
She's already completed all of her training, so she's actually a deputy coroner right now. So she'll be ready to put in as soon as the caucus is complete.
So you don't need nothing there? Okay.
The training that they do is handled through death certificates. I think counties doesn't pay for that. Or it used to be that way. I don't know if I'm assuming
Yeah,
it's still the
that's
same way.
how they do it. They take
It's been a while since I've been out, so there could be a lot of changes I'm not aware of.
They take a certain amount out of each death certificate to pay for our continuing education every year for a conference.
Michelle?
Could you calculate for me if we didn't increase any of the salaries, if there would be an increase to this budget? Yeah, do you have it? So that is moving.
Yeah, mine will go through too much.
Okay. So this is moving line items on my own. I'm trying to see like what the actual difference is. It's the same number, I don't know.
How many runs you got so far for the years?
Mine's not
Yeah,
the same as everybody else's.
In 2021, we did 106, and then last year we did 105. Right now we're at 54.
Out of those calls, do you know how many were actual courtesy calls?
I have to go back through all the records, Peg has those, so I have to go through.
That's the two things that I'd like to know is actually how many were coroner calls versus court courtesy calls, and how much autopsies cost, and then how many autopsies has been done in the past.
Yeah, I'll have to try to get that information from her. Like I said, this just happened last week. She left, so.
She's already moved up to Michigan City.
No, she's still here, but she's not doing work.
Well, for doing this on the fly, you're doing a great job.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, a little stressful to be jumped in like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. She usually just took care of all this, so I really don't know anything about any of it, so.
I think I come up to $108,557.
No, that doesn't sound right. That's one of my things. Yeah, Michelle, I don't want to like nitpick line items if it's not an increase, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's not that much, and,
No, it's not that much. Um, So yeah, if you two wouldn't mind to get the cost of the autopsy and just send that to Michelle, she'll send that to us. And so we can see that, because that's really the substantial change in the budget. Thank you for looking at cost-saving ways that we can reduce money spent on staff. So thank you for looking at that. That's very much appreciated from our end to know that that could be potentially reduced. So thank you so much for that. Council, do you have any questions for the coroner's office?
that's all I have.
It's better, so it's not really this one. I see this is mainly where the increase is coming from, so, okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. The number that Michelle showed me of an increase, if you took out the salary increases, was a little over $105,000, which if you compare 2023 to 2024, they're asking for $5,000 more in autopsy. So they've actually, aside from the autopsy, everything else they've looked to cut. So they've cut some things. So yes, thank you. I'm going to spend the last 20 minutes going through some of the commissioner's budget, or if you would like to go ahead and recess.
Yep.
You want to keep going? Recess? Recess?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, we will recess and we will reconvene at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I'm going to here.
I know it's gonna be just a tad late.
You're fine.
You're gonna get your pay.
Ron Hill sounds like he's out there.
He's out there.
Everybody.
You're gonna go up $14 and you're basically going down.
Hey, that's only when you run the meeting.
When you've already said that.